you guys, and welcome back to my channel, Sunshine and Serenity. And I know we've not made videos in quite some time, and there's a reason for that. We've actually been in a really big transition period these last couple of months, and then, of course, once it got colder, um, there wasn't so much to grow and all of that, so there wasn't really a whole lot going on. But I just wanted to kind of share with you guys what is going on with us and our family and like what is happening. So, um, those of you who have kind of followed my journey either on Instagram or Facebook or through this YouTube channel, even though, I haven't put out a ton of content and there's not a massive following, I do still enjoy doing videos here and there. And so if you've been following that, you know that we live in the city. We actually live in a very urban area, and we were trying to do what we could in our backyard while we were in a transition period of our life. So, several years ago, God had put a dream on my heart. He had put desires, in me that I didn't have um, prior to Him doing this. One of those was homeschooling my children. Up until that point, my daughter had gone to public school, and we had not even thought about homeschooling. It was just one of those things that she enjoyed public school, and I just said, that's not something that I felt like I could do. I didn't feel like I had that in me to be able to do that. But one of the cool things about when God puts a desire or puts something on your heart that you feel like you should obey and do, He will always equip you and prepare you for those journeys. So one of those journeys was homeschooling. We started homeschooling our children 2 years ago, and we really enjoy homeschooling. We love the freedom in homeschooling. My kids are thriving. My kids are learning. They're growing. It's amazing. So we absolutely love it. And what was something that I thought I could never do, God has equipped and prepared me for, and we are doing it very well, and we really enjoy it. So that was one of the big, huge changes, right? A couple of years ago, we started that. Another dream is I always wanted to be able to have a farm, be able to have our own land, our own home that we owned, or we're in the process of, owning, that one day we will own. And I always just really I wanted a farm. I wanted to be able to garden and to do animals and chickens and, all of those things. So a couple years ago, we made the decision. We felt like God was calling us to move to another urban rent area to be able to save money on um, our monthly bills, because I was dropping out of working. We were going down to a one income household, and I was going to be homeschooling my children. So we just felt like that was best for us to be able to move somewhere where we could save money, pay off debt, and work on taking those steps to being able to one day eventually making those dreams of having a farm and our own house and land possible. So a couple years ago, we moved to this property that we're at currently that we rent, and we just dove in trying to learn all the skills we could learn while we were here. I started gardening for the first time 2 years ago. We put garden beds in our backyard. Even though I had canned prior to this part of my life, I used to do a lot of canning back when we lived in Oklahoma. I took on new things such as pressure canning. I started doing more research and learning how to do a lot more cooking from scratch. Although I had grown up knowing some of those things, there was a lot that I didn't know. So I started learning all of those skills, how to preserve, how to cook, and make it on what we had in the household. So we just dove straight in, like learning all we could, taking steps to practice those skills so that when that time came, eventually, when God put us in the position that we could have our own farm in the future, that we would be ready. We would be prepared. We would be able to do everything that we needed to do, because how often do we know that if we go jumping headfirst into something without knowing ahead of time, it can make it very frustrating. You can get exhausted and it makes you want to quit because you didn't know how to do those things before jumping into them. So we felt like this was kind of just our classroom and our time period to learn those skills to be able to prepare us for whenever God does put this, future farm property in our future, we would be ready. And so we kind of felt like just God was putting stepping stones and building blocks in order to get us to, the point in our life where we were ready for those steps. And so we did that. We have been here for 2 years. We finally got last year in October, we finally got to a place where we could start looking for properties. We could start kind of figuring out what is this going to look like for us to be able to, own our own home, for us to be able to buy something with a little bit of land to where we can take that next step towards making the dream happen. And let me tell you that it was a super frustrating period. If y'all don't know anything about this crazy housing market right now, it's crazy. Let me tell you, it is crazy. It gets frustrating. Everybody is looking for the same thing that you're looking for because everybody just realized within the past couple of years just how fragile our systems are that are in place and how important it is to be more self-reliant and to be able to have more control over those aspects of your life, right? And so everybody's looking for the same thing. So the humanness in us, right? Even though we know that God has a plan for us and we trust that God has a plan for us, the humanness in us, it wants us to, we want to be like, no, I'm going to hold on to that and take control of those reins, so to speak. Like, I know you have what's good for me, God, but I want this and I want it right now, and I'm going to take control of the reins, and I'm not going to let you have control because if I do, it might look like what I don't want it to look like, right? It might look like a no instead of a yes. So we started that process in October. We looked at lots of properties. We made offers on 6 different houses, and each time we made an offer on a house, along with 12 or 13 other people, it would fall through, or we would get outbid. Most often we would get outbid, and let me tell you, after about the 6th offer, it was getting to the point where it was kind of frustrating, and I got to a point where I was like content with, if we have to be here for another year, then we have to be here for another year. That's, if that's what God has for us, to be here for another year, he sees things that I don't see, and he sees the bigger picture. And I know that whatever his plan is for our life, we want to be obedient to that, and we want to be able to take what he has for our lives. We don't want to jump into something if it's not what God has for us, because then that just comes with a whole whirlwind of problems, right? When you are not obedient to what God has and you want to just do what you want to do and have what you want to have, right? So it was crazy. So here we were in January, right after Christmas. And at this point, I had been checking, Realtor several days, like looking for properties every day. We were going to see properties. We were making offers on properties, and it just wasn't happening. And, we had worked so hard for the last 2 years to be able to get into a spot to do that. There was a point in time 2 years ago when you asked me, if you would have looked back and said, hey, you're going to be ready to buy a house in 2021 or 2022, I would have looked at you and laughed. I would have looked at you and laughed, because I would have said, no, there's absolutely no way. We owe too much in medical bills. We owe too much in debt. Our credit scores are just rock bottom low. Like, there is absolutely no way that it's going to happen. And I get emotional thinking about it, because that's just how big our God is, right? He gives us God-sized dreams, and he wants us to dream God-sized dreams, which is what we've been talking about in our Sunday sermons at church. He has God-sized dreams for us, and he has plans for us. And, their plans to prosper us, not to harm us, to give us a hope in a future. Like, his plans are huge for us, and he wants us to dream those big dreams. But he also wants to give us those dreams in the right timing, right? He wants to give it to us little by little, making sure that we are fully prepared for that big dream that he has for us. So, it's just one of those things. Like, we just came to a point and said, okay, God, you know what? If this is what you have for us, make it happen. If this is not what you want for us, put supernatural obstacles in our way, because we don't want anything for our lives that is not from you. So put those obstacles in our way, make it hard for us, make it obvious that we are not supposed to be doing this. So the word that he gave me shortly after that was trust. Fully trust, because I had not fully trusted him with that process yet. I was still selfishly wanting what I wanted when I wanted it, and not giving the trust that it will happen when it's the right one in his timing. So that's what happens when you hold on to something for so long. You can't receive what God has for you when you have your fists clenched tight closed on something that you want for yourself. So the moment that I released and opened my hands and said, you know what, God, here it is. I am releasing my reins, and I'm giving them to you, Lord. And the moment that I did that, things started to fall into place. I mean, supernaturally fall into place. So, I'm super excited to announce that we are moving. We are finally, get emotional, guys. We're finally moving to our first farm. And I am so excited. It is another stepping stone in our dream. It is not a huge farm. We are moving to a house on 1.1 acres. But it is just another classroom, another learning period, another stepping stone to that huge dream that God has for us and that we want for ourselves in God's timing. So we are moving. We're moving. So we are excited. Things fell into place supernaturally. We came across this property 3 days after Christmas, or I say after Christmas, after the new year, but still in that Christmas break time period. We came across this house, and it was just amazing how everything just fell into place, as far as from the offer to the inspection to just the things that God has put into place and the people that he has put in our lives to help us make this happen. It's amazing. Like, it is completely, all I can say is it's truly God ordained, and truly would not be possible without his supernatural, supernatural wisdom. And it's just inspiring. I'm in awe still. I'm in awe and I'm in shock because of how great and how good God is, and how he keeps his promises, even though it may not look like in our time period, right? We were in this 2-year waiting period where I wanted so badly to have those things, to have the land and the space for my kids to where they could just go out and experience, farm life, and just getting to have that with my kids and have them grow up with that. And those ideals was so important to me, and those skills. And so just wanting to have that so bad, but knowing that I couldn't have that right now, was really hard. It was really hard, but I dove into learning. I dove into making the best of what I had where I was, so that I would be prepared when God opened those doors for that next step in that dream for me and for us. So we are so excited. Everything fell into place as far as being able to be out of here at the right time, to where we wouldn't have to renew leases, and everything just fell into place the way that God had intended. And all I had to do was open my hands and give it to him, and trust. That's my word for 2022, is trust. Trust in the Lord, and lean on not your own understanding, right? So I'm so excited. I'm just super excited. So I can't wait to show you guys. Uh, I can't wait to show you guys what it looks like, and I can't wait to show you through Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, show you guys the process of what we're gonna do to make it ours, and just the process of learning and growing with new avenues, chickens, and all the things that I didn't get to experience and learn here. I have been learning in my waiting room in order to be able to be prepared to have those things at this next place. So we're so excited. Yeah, we're supposed to close on February the 9th, if everything goes according, God willing, and be in our new farm by the end of March. So we are so excited, and we can't wait to take you on this next journey with us. And yeah, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for praying for us and for, just helping us along in this journey and being supportive. We are super appreciative, and we can't wait to show you guys what's next for Sunshine and Serenity. So stay tuned. I can't wait to show you guys our new property. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for your prayers, and yeah, God is good all the time.